everyone. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of April 18th, 19th, and 20th. On today's show, we'll look into All About You, a chronic disease self-management program. But first, it's Good Friday. Please keep in mind that all administrative offices at Shell Point are closed today. As you look forward to celebrating Easter, consider your dining plans. We have several options available for you. On Sunday, April 20th, the Island Cafe will be open from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m., so you can enjoy an early morning cup of coffee or a custom-made hot breakfast or lunch. The Crystal Room will be open from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. with a bountiful buffet of baked ham, salmon, hand-carved lamb or prime rib, and made-to-order omelets. It's all you can eat of entrees, side items, and desserts for just $24.95. And at the Woodlands, the Palm Grill will be open from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. with special menu selections like filet mignon, Florida grouper, baked ham, salmon, or surf and turf. Now to change gears, so to speak, how would you like to take part in the upcoming variety show without ever having to set foot on stage? If you've got a unique car or golf cart, then we want to display it at the Route 66 Variety Show on April 29th. Call Leslie Brand at 454-2057 to learn more. According to FindMark Bank, one of the best ways to protect your identity is by shredding and disposing of printed materials which contain your personal information. But shredding confidential paperwork, expired credit cards, and other old records can be a daunting task. That is why FindMark Bank is pleased to provide a free shredding event this Monday utilizing Secure Shredding Inc., a mobile document destruction service whose truck will be here from 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. in front of the village church. FindMark staff members will be on hand to ensure your security. You can bring items to shred in any bag, box, or container of your choice. If you have any questions, you can call the FindMark office at 461-5999. Again, the event will be Monday from 9 a.m. until 10:30 a.m. in front of the village church. At the end of this month, a 6-week series of workshops will start on self-management program for chronic disease. It's called It's All About You. This program is based on research by Stanford University and is being offered in collaboration with Lee Memorial Health System. It is set to be interactive and it's even fun. Let's hear more about what looks to be a very helpful series of presentations.
I'm Mary Franklin with the Health Connection program, and I am so pleased to be able to offer this program once again to the Shell Point residents. Lee Memorial has been bringing this program out to Shell Point, and it is called It's All About You, Chronic Disease Self-Management Program. It's a very important program for those that deal with any chronic illness in their life and gives them an opportunity to learn how to function and deal with such diseases. Here today we have a wonderful group of ladies. We have Joyce Hall from Lee Memorial Hospital, Barb Boynton from Shell Point, and Barbara Heatherly from Shell Point as well. And the two Barbs, Barb and Barbara, are here today because they are graduates of this program, and actually they are going to become teachers of this program. So we're very pleased to have them here to give their own testimony. But Joyce, let's start with you. Tell us about you and your role in Lee Memorial, and then go into the program a little bit.
I am a master's prepared nurse, and my title is Community Health Program Coordinator with Lee Health Solutions, which people know them for their diabetes education.
Right.
And so this is a community education program to help those individuals who have chronic illness deal with a lot of the symptoms and other issues that they deal with on an ongoing basis. So we teach them skills to use ongoing. It is a research-based program out of Stanford University, and Lee Memorial was blessed with a grant from Southwest Florida Community Foundation to help us start the program a year ago. As of now, we have completed over 16 workshops and graduated over 120 individuals.
I'm so pleased to see the success, because when we started a year ago, it was just getting started, and you have impacted so many lives in the last year.
and it's fun. I love it. I love interacting with people, and I love seeing the progress that they make during the 6-week program.
And there are 3 very important components of this program. It is not just focusing on the chronic disease itself or condition, it's also focusing on yourself and your own well-being. What are those 3 components?
Well, we have action planning as one of the big ones because we do that every week.
Okay.
And decision making is another one of the big ones. And people say, well, I know how to make decisions, but we actually give them the tools to help them really evaluate their decisions. So those are 2 of the biggest ones that we deal with.
Well, Barb, you took the class already.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, right? And then you're going to become a leader in this class. And for you, the action planning was very important.
Right.
What did you take away from this program?
Well, I think the biggest thing I took was to be accountable, to plan the action for the week and work on it with a timeline the week. And also, we had to indicate our confidence level, which may have really been very low at first, but then it became higher later. And I think that is one of the very best things about the program.
You walk out of there holding your head high and know that you can.
And I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress,
Right.
and whatever I decide to do, I keep on working on it.
Now, Barbara, you experienced a positive when it came to stress management. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Right. I found myself in a situation and used the stress management skills I learned. So it was breathing techniques and other things, which I found very helpful.
Why were you so empowered that you now want to be a leader and help other people with this program?
I thought it besides helping other people, it would help me to continue to use these skills so I get better. The more you use them, the better you get at doing that. So it's going to help me too.
And you do, Joyce, share stories and so forth in the group, but this is a motivational program. It's not a sob story program. Who should be coming to this? Who should be signing up?
Someone who really wants to make a difference in their life, who wants to increase their quality of life, who wants to learn how to better handle issues such as problems with sleep, depression, fatigue, fear, things that are seen commonly with people who have a chronic health condition, because we help them learn about that symptom cycle, but we also give them tools to help break that symptom cycle so that they can be more independent and better self-managers.
Okay. Well, this is a wonderful program that is, like you said, it has been researched and documented. You follow a book along the way. If you would like to sign up for this program, it is offered twice during this Health Connection program series. You can check out all the details in your Health Connection and call the service desk to sign up. I'm Mary Franklin with 3 fabulous ladies here today, and we hope you make it a happy and healthy day.
And now a programming note. At Shell Point TV, we strive to bring you the best quality we can in the way of information, stories, and our presentation. As you change channels up and down with your TV remote, you have probably noticed that more and more of the offerings are in high definition resolution, and we are not. Up until now, it was just not economically feasible to bring you our programming in HD, but that has changed. The technology has become much more affordable, and through a recent capital investment, we now actually have all of the new hardware and software to produce Shell Point TV in high definition. Now that is the good news. The not so good news is that in order to install this equipment and software, get it debugged, and start up high definition production, we will have to shut down the Shell Point TV program for a short time. Starting on May 5th, we will be going off the air for 2 weeks. During most of that time, the announcement slides will still be running on Channel 11, but even those will have to go dark for a few days. Channels 12 and 13 will also undergo changes, and we will have more information about that when the time gets closer. Unfortunately, it is just not possible to do this upgrade gradually. Virtually, our entire infrastructure from shooting to editing to play out over the air has to be changed all at the same time. Again, it's quite amazing that this has become affordable, but there is no getting around the time necessary for the installation. When we come back, you will see everything you have come to expect from ShellPoint TV in glorious 16:9 widescreen high resolution. Judging from the video quality we have already seen from the new cameras, we think you will really like it. So again, please bear with us as we go off the air for 2 weeks starting May 5th. But we're not off the air yet. We're getting ready to replay some of the week's best stories from ShellPoint TV. But before we do that, let's cover all of this weekend's happenings, menus, and church news.
Welcome to the weekend edition of the Happenings segment of ShellPoint TV. I'm Bev Chandley. This is Leslie Brand. We're going to tell you what's going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Before I go into the activities, I just want to mention that Friday is Good Friday, and we will have our administrative offices closed. At 8 o'clock, we're going to start with the men's match play, doubles tennis, down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. 8:15, the stamp ministry will be working in the stamp room down in the tunnel. At 10 o'clock, the card game of Canasta will be in the game room of the Woodlands. Also at 10 o'clock, we have the men's match play, doubles tennis. 10:15 is the time the Good Friday service will be at the Village Church. Also at 10:15, we have Inquiring Minds gathering in the Manatee Room on the island. We're going to jump into our afternoon activities now with the 12:30 mixed progressive bridge game in the game room of the Woodlands. 1:15, we have table tennis down in the Tarpon Room. Also, we have the 1:15 quilters group in the Osprey Room. From 1:30 to 3:30, the model train room will be open for tours. Also at 1:30, we have Vespers. That'll be in the community room of the Arbor. 2 o'clock, it's Bid Euchre in the Sable Room. And we have the Great Decisions group in the Manatee Room at 2:45. Our last activity of our Friday is 6:45. It's game night in the Osprey Room on the island. That's a new location, so make sure you head to the Osprey Room. Okay, now here's Leslie with your Saturday activities.
Thank you, Bev. We're going to start Saturday at 8 o'clock, pickleball at the pickleball courts. Also at 8 o'clock is the round robins tennis at the tennis courts. 9:30 is the women's doubles at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. Duplicate bridge at 9:45 in the Manatee Room. 10:15 is the Model Yacht Sailing Club in the Garden Apartment Pond on the island. At 1 o'clock, we have chess in the Library Lounge and the Resident Activity Center. Also in the Library Lounge is Scrabble at 1:15. 1:15 table tennis in the Tarpon Room. 3:15 basic line dancing in the Health Club. And we're going to end Saturday at 6:30 at Duplicate Bridge in the Manatee Room on the island. Now here's Bev for the Sunday activities.
Thanks, Leslie. We're going to start out bright and early, Easter sunrise service in the amphitheater down at the island. That's at 6:30 a.m. At 10:15, we have the morning worship service in the Village Church. That's also broadcast live on ShellPoint TV, Channel 12. We're going to jump to the afternoon for 1:30 Mixed Golf League at the ShellPoint Golf Club. 6:15, we have Season of Praise with Nilsson and Young. That'll be at the Village Church. You do need to have a ticket for that event. We hope you make it a great weekend. We think we will, and we'll see you back here next week.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is seafood pasta with toasted French bread and steamed broccoli. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $15.95, and the soup of the day is lentil. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, the special is a fish sandwich with coleslaw and fries for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $22.95 or steamed striped sea bass for $16.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, the special is a meatball sub with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is tilapia parmesan with rice pilaf and steamed broccoli for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are prime rib for $19.95 or grilled mahi-mahi for $13.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Easter brunch for $24.95. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, the special is a ham, egg, and cheese croissant with fresh fruit for $7.25, and they will be closed at 2 o'clock for the Easter holiday. In the Palm Grill on Sunday, they will be open from 11 o'clock until 4 o'clock with an Easter special menu. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with Randy Woods, our minister of worship and music, and we're looking forward to one of the grand celebrations this weekend as we look ahead to what's happening in the services on Sunday.
Yeah, the Easter celebration obviously is historically marks the life, the ministry of the church around the world, all because Jesus Christ has arisen from the dead.
That event is the significant event in the history of the Christian faith, and in fact what we all rely on entirely for our salvation.
And remind us that obviously the resurrection is preceded with the sacrificial death of Christ. So Good Friday we have the special service here at the church at 10:15, the communion service as we gather around a large cross that's constructed here in the sanctuary with the seating around that. The focus is just to remember that sacrificial death, and you'll be speaking for the Good Friday service as we remember that time together. And then we'll continue Sunday morning as we worship together. Mentioned the sunrise service in the amphitheater at 6:30 Sunday morning with singing Christ the Lord is risen from the grave as we sing and release doves and celebrate the resurrection.
That's right. And Neil Clark will be speaking on the sunrise service, and we're looking forward to a message that I'm sure will be especially appropriate for the occasion.
Oh, I'm sure it will be with Pastor Neil Clark. And then we gather in the church auditorium as we gather as a community and as a church family to celebrate collectively with the choir, our guest musicians, Stephen Nielsen, Ovid Young will be with us, and you'll be speaking Sunday morning as we gather for their big celebration in the sanctuary, that Easter Sunday resurrection celebration. And the message Sunday morning obviously is going to focus on Easter, on the resurrection.
It certainly will. And of course, there's no greater delight than a pastor has in talking about the resurrection of Christ. Yeah. You know, Paul talks about it in 1 Corinthians 15 that without the resurrection of Christ, you know, we're still in our sins and our faith is in vain. And so this is the crucial event of the faith, and any preacher who's a Christian loves to preach about the resurrection of Christ, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, and as we start the service, the choir will resonate throughout the auditorium with a great song of faith that says, "Because he lives, I can face tomorrow." And that's what the celebration is all about. So Sunday morning at 10:15 in the church auditorium, and then Sunday night we continue the celebration in a grand way with our guest, Stephen Nielsen, Ovid Young, duo pianist, and a wonderful inspirational concert of praise.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear them. This is the first time I will have heard them live, but I think I'm very familiar with their music over the years, and I'm sure this congregation will resonate with the things that they present.
Well, they're a gifted duo. They have concertized around the world, and as pianists separately but together, there's a synergy there that is just unequaled. And their heart, their passion for the Lord as they share has a great celebration. There are times of reflection, but the artistry is just spectacular. So invite folks to come. There are tickets available at the door. They're $10 for this final concert in our Season of Praise series. But it's going to be a wonderful weekend of celebration as we celebrate the resurrection together here at the Village Church.
Very much looking forward to it.
Yes. Well, I trust you'll join us. Again, that's Sunday morning at 10:15, Sunday night at 6:15 at the Village Church. And may God bless you this Easter season as we celebrate the life, the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ.
It's time for our Shell Point TV Week in Review, and we began this week with a look back at the winners from the Shell Point Resident Photo Show. visual arts are alive and well at Shell Point. Our Shell Point artists have recently hung a new collection of their work in the art studio in the Island Tunnel. The School Supply Fund Drive is starting up, and we got a word about this heartwarming Shell Point tradition.
Hi Shell Point, and welcome to the Volunteer Corner. I'm Melody Desolé here with two very special guests. I have my very own son Bradley Morrison Desolé and Dorothy Erickson from Nautilus. We're here today to talk about the School Supply Fund Drive, and it's coming up soon, and we want you to be a part of it. Dorothy, can you tell me a little bit about the School Supply Fund Drive and what its purpose is?
Okay, each year the schools locally give lists to the children of supplies that their parents are supposed to furnish for each school year. And it's quite overwhelming if you look through these lists. It can run $40 to $60 for one child. And so a few years back, some Shell Point residents decided this is a way we could help our employees. And so we collect money and then buy supplies for the children and grandchildren of Shell Point employees.
What a wonderful gesture. Now, in years past, what has our goal been for bags?
Well, it's gradually increased every year as people learn more about it and as people decide this is a way that I can do something for our employees. Last year we filled 600 bags of supplies, and we're hoping this year to do 650.
What an excellent goal. Now, Dorothy, what is in those bags that you're handing out?
Okay, we fill bags for children that are in kindergarten through grade 5. And so it includes things like crayons, pencils, scissors, notebooks, paste, glue, anything that you think they might need in school, or the teachers think they might need.
Now, Dorothy, we're not asking residents to actually put supplies in bags and donate those. We're looking for funding for this excellent program.
That's correct, because we get a good price from the office supply place, and it's that way every child gets the same thing.
Perfect. Now, how would they go about funding this?
People can make donations. You turn in cash or check at either service desk. If you turn in by check, you can get a tax-deductible receipt for it. We're not able to do that with cash donations. And those will be sent out a few days after we receive the money.
Now, when are we planning to distribute to the employee children?
Okay, we collect the funds now, but we give out the supplies in the middle of July, soon before school starts.
Excellent. So when is our fund drive starting and ending?
Okay, this year the fund drive will go from April 15th through April 30th.
Now, as you can see, my son is a little young to be a participant in the school supply receival. However, he's a good example of myself as an employee with a little child. So if you have the heart to fund this school supply drive, please do so at either service desk from April 15th through the 30th. On behalf of all the employees and their children, we greatly appreciate whatever you can do to help out this great cause. Thank you, Dorothy, for being here today, and thank you for all that you do in your volunteering efforts.
You're very welcome.
Marie Hepp paid us a visit to talk about keeping our skin healthy.
Have you looked in the mirror lately and wondered about a discoloration on your skin? Well, we have a Health Connections program that's talking about skin cancer, which is the most common cancer there is. The program will take place on Monday, April 21st at 1:15 p.m. in the Social Center, and we are pleased to have at Shell Point an expert, Marie Hepp from Lee Memorial Health Centers. Marie, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is your passion. Yes. You are very passionate about your job.
Yes.
And it didn't start recent. It started when you were 5?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I have a family history of cancers, of genetic cancers, so I grew up watching loved ones get cancer and then unfortunately dying from cancer. Mm-hmm. So it became a passion of mine, became a nurse practitioner, and now I've been for the last 5 years oncology outreach educator and a survivorship coordinator at Lee Memorial's Regional Cancer Center.
All right. Well, you just beam with pride when you're talking about your job. And but heading back to skin cancer, one, when our population here at Shell Point, when they were growing up, there wasn't such things as sunscreen or putting on your eyeglasses and so forth, and we don't often think about it. We don't often. But in this talk, you're going to be talking a lot about how the sun affects our skin and so forth. What is the process? When the sun hits our skin, what happens?
What happens is we need, number one, to get over thinking that a tan equals beauty, because it actually equals damage. Mm-hmm. And the best tan is natural. The skin that we've been given, we want to protect it. It's the largest organ in our body. Mm-hmm. And what happens from exposure, either from the UV light, ultraviolet radiation light from the sun, or from a tanning booth, is that exposure of the light comes onto the skin. Underneath the skin, there's an enzyme, and that enzyme is trying to protect damage that's being done from prolonged exposure, and that's where we get the darkening of the pigmentation. Mm-hmm. And so that's where the tan comes from. But unfortunately, down the road, with prolonged exposure over the years, or through tanning booths, or staying out in the sun too long without proper coverage, that enzyme can't protect from the body's cells mutating from the damage, thus creating cancer.
Okay. Now, some of our residents, maybe if they were in the military and so forth, have the tattoos and so
yes.
forth. That can be a little scary for someone who, what is that mask?
Yes, what they're finding out now is that the tattoos, based on how large they are and the colors of the tattoo, it actually, not only the sun will change the coloring, but it can mask either basal cell, squamous cell, or malignant melanoma, which is the deadliest. And what's happening, unfortunately, if there is a basal cell, squamous cell, or melanoma there, it's not being detected until it's already been there for a while. So thus then the early detection isn't happening, and so the outcomes aren't as good.
Now, why do we often see, people walking around, and after they've had that dermatology appointment, they usually have a little spot here and on the ears? Why are those such
Well, those
high
are the most
areas?
common areas that get affected from direct sunlight. And again, we're not even talking about tanning booths, which is a huge problem for teens into their 20s. But just with the exposure, if you think about it, it's exposed skin. So whether you're walking, whether you're playing a sport, whether you work, they're seeing an increase now with young men who are outside doing work outside, contracting or landscaping. They get hot, they take off their shirt. So anything that is constantly exposed to the sun, being your face, your ears, your head, your arms, anything constantly has a greater susceptibility because of the exposure. And what's happening is that when I worked in a Mohs center up in Tampa, and Mohs is a type of surgery to remove any questionable lesions, and I have seen where they take off the tips of the ear, on the nose, and the tops of the head. Those are the most common areas because, number one, for the nose, you're sweating. So where does the sweat? It comes down here and you keep wiping it off. And though you might have put the suntan or sunblock on 2 hours earlier, you have wiped it off. So you have to be aware to reapply. The other thing is, if you think about it, the sun's coming from above. So you're looking in the mirror in the morning, you're putting your lotion on going this way, but you're not really thinking about where the sun's coming from. And you need to get the tips of your ears, the tops, and also from the head. And we don't see the changes in the mirror. So that's why we want to be vigilant to have that screening by a professional dermatologist each year, because we may be wearing a visor here, but we have this open, and they sell, there are all different brands out there of clothing, of hats, protective, that actually have a sun protection in them.
I know we try to wear those on the boat and so forth.
Yes.
You also have a suggestion of different type of sunglasses.
Yes, you can either buy these at any ophthalmology shop. Eye doctors carry them when they're selling glasses, or you can pick them up in the drugstores and Walmart, and they're called fit-overs. Number one, if you wear glasses, you don't want to be taking sunglasses and changing. But if I can demonstrate, again, where is the sun coming from? It's coming from above. So I have a covering here up to my brow, and also we get a lot of reflection. So from if we're on the beach, if we're near water, the light's going to bounce off and come in. I will tell you, the first time I ever put these on, I thought it was very dark. Well, it's doing its job. So these fit-overs with the proper lenses will help minimize the damage to the eyes that people don't realize is also a direct result from the sun.
Well, Marie, I really encourage everyone to go, because we do live in sunny Florida. We've been exposed our whole entire life to the sun, and just talking to you in the Passion, you learn so much more about why skin cancer takes place, and little tidbits that we never knew on what you can do to protect yourself. So we're looking forward to Marie coming into the Social Center at 1:15 p.m. on Monday, April 21st. If you would like to sign up, please do so at either service desk. With our skin cancer expert, Marie Hepp, I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a great day.
The Walking Company is a store that specializes in custom-fit shoes that can make walking more comfortable. Two ladies from the store came by to visit with Leslie Brand and talk about their upcoming presentation.
Hello everyone, I'm Leslie Brand and I'm here with the Health Connections. And I'm here interviewing these two wonderful ladies on a program that we are having on April 23rd A Step into the Right Shoe with the Walking Company. And I'm here to kind of give you a preview of what this program is all about and what you are going to be hearing and the advice that you'll be getting on the different shoes that are sold at the Walking Company and which shoe would be right for you. So how are you? We have Maria here, who is the manager of the Walking Company, and we also have Angie, who is the assistant manager. So why did you choose the Walking Company out of all the different shoe stores there are in Florida to work for?
I think for me, it's really like a family. When you go in there, it really feels like, for me, it was just like a great. I shopped there before I started there, and when you go in, it really feels like they're there to help you. They really try to find the best shoe for you. Just a really great place to shop. They give great customer service. We really try to. And that was really how it started. And then, working there, it's really like a family atmosphere. They really treat you really good. So that's why I've stayed.
Well, great.
For me.
And for you?
Well, I started working in the company like 3 years ago, and it was a really nice experience when you go to the store. So we were one of the stores that a lot of doctors recommended. We had different kind of shoes. So it's a really nice place that you can go enjoy and find what are you looking for.
That's great. That's great. And I know here in Florida, too, from me moving down here, there's so many discounted shoe stores and outlet shoe stores, things that you can get, Payless and all those kinds of shoes. So why should, residents and people spend that extra money on the different shoes, that extra quality? Are they just high-quality shoes, or?
They're very high-quality shoes. The technology that they put into the shoes is just amazing. Obviously, we have doctors that recommend, they send their patients to us. Daily we get those people coming into the store. It's just a great product. They really put the patient and their customer first when they're putting these shoes together. If you're on your feet, doctors and nurses come in and buy these shoes. If you're on your feet all day, people in the medical field or people in the service industry come in and buy these shoes. It's a great product.
That's great. So what kind of shoes are sold there?
We carry performance shoes, athletic shoes, walking shoes, Dance Go, which puts out a great clog, which is for the medical field, or if you're in, service industry, all different sandals and just comfort shoes.
So the people that will benefit from this obviously are, people that running, you have specific shoes for running, or specific shoes for, maybe people with diabetes or have sore feet, because I know here at Shell Point we have so many volunteers that stand up on their feet all day, or they, especially here living on the island, we just walk around and they have all different kinds of medical reasons to which shoes they need to wear and that kind of thing. And do you have inserts for shoes also that are sold there?
We do. We sell orthotics, so they go inside our shoes and then any of their shoes that they have as well.
We also have a technology that we use every day. So every time that you go to the store, we have a machine that we scan your feet so we can see what is your specific pressure points and what type of arch you have.
Wow,
so that's something that we do everybody to go to our stores so we can see what is going to be like the best product for each customer.
Well, there you have it, folks. We have great presentation coming up on April 23rd. It's a Wednesday at 10:15 in the Social Center. If you have any questions at all about shoes, what shoes to wear when you're volunteering, running, have sore feet, anything, these wonderful ladies can answer those questions for you. So make sure you come out to the Social Center for a step in your right shoe, and because your feet will definitely thank you. My name is Leslie Brand, and again, I'm here with Maria and Angie, and we hope you have a fabulous day.
Jerry and Suzanne Wilson are special friends of monarch butterflies. We talked to them about what they do to care for the iconic species of winged wonders.
I'm a retired science school teacher from Michigan, and so I taught biology. Many insects have a host plant, and so the milkweed is what the caterpillar chooses to eat, So that's where the female would deposit her eggs to make sure that her young'uns are going to get their source of food. And the egg, after 3 or 4 days with the caterpillar inside, eats its way out of the egg and then will continue to eat on that plant.
And it's been our intention that we would, rather than leave it in the wild where the survival rate is only like 20 or 30%, what we're doing is we're guaranteeing almost 90%. So we take the caterpillar off after it gets to a certain size, and then we would take it into our home and put it in an aquarium, and then we would cut plants, a milkweed plant, and then the caterpillar would feast on those leaves until it gets to a certain size, probably as big as my finger right here, and then it eventually would stop eating, and then that would then start to go into this, work its way into this stage right here. And then we use a 5-gallon aquarium here that has a screen top that it can attach itself to.
After about 2 weeks of the caterpillar engorging itself, it becomes almost in a search party where it starts meandering away from the milkweed plant, and we recognize that it's trying to find a place where it's going to go into the next stage, which is the pupa or chrysalis stage. And so they're hanging upside down. And we'll start to see that instead of the yellow and the black and white of the stripes of the caterpillar, that the skin is starting to split at the head end, and under it is this green material. It's actually another layer of skin that develops underneath the caterpillar skin. And the caterpillar skin then, as it cracks all the way up to the top, then is released or falls. And at this stage, this is new skin. It's very, very damp and moist, and scientists refer to it as a jewel case. It looks almost like a jade-colored jewel, and there is a circle around one half of it that has little gold specks that look like little golden jewels. And again, it's just a chemical material that scientists do study to find out exactly what it is. And then in that stage, it will be there for about 10 days, as Jerry said. We start to notice that that chrysalis or pupa becomes very, very translucent. We start to see light through it and no longer green. And we start to see then black and orange of the adult insect wings. And at that stage, we know within 24 hours, we're going to have the complete metamorphosis of the adult monarch.
Regardless of when they go into that chrysalis, that's a 10-day span. And they will come out between 9 a.m. and 11 in the morning. They hardly ever vary, no matter what time they go in that thing. They're usually out at between 9 and 11. Once it comes out of the chrysalis, it has to get its wings expanded, so the abdomen is 2 or 3 times bigger than the wings. So the wings are really scrunched up, but the abdomen is that big. So whatever fluid is in the abdomen is being pumped out into the veins of the wings, and it takes about an hour for that to happen, and then it takes about another half hour, 45 minutes for the wings to actually dry, and then the butterfly would then be ready for flight. We like to keep contact with them. We almost treat them as if they were family because we've been with them for 30 days. So yeah, well, there is an attachment for us. We have in the past tagged butterflies. Through monarchwatch.org, you can get UPC stickers. After you fill out some information, they'll send them back to you. They're about the size of the head of a pin. When the butterfly emerges and dries itself off, you can take it and with some tweezers put the sticker on it, and then you would release it. And we did receive 2 replies, one from Colorado and one from New Mexico, of our butterflies who had migrated south. So we thought that was very exciting.
There's probably 2 migrations that take place, one from the eastern seaboard states, and they migrate not all the way to Mexico. I think they make it just as far as Florida and like it here. But the middle states and the western states, they are the ones that migrate through the western states down into Texas and spend the winter time in Mexico. So for 3 or 4 different generations, a generation would be a month from egg to adult. There's usually 4 generations that take place during the summer months in the northern states. And the 5th generation is the one who has to be energized, because that adult will fly the whole distance, 1,500 to 2,000 miles, to spend the winter in, as I said, Texas or in Mexico. We had the tremendous drought in the western states. And so the Science News was saying to us that the normal migration of thousands of monarchs may be cut in half population before they got to Mexico, because they didn't have a natural source of food. The milkweed plant is only the food for the caterpillar. Other flowers, wildflowers and so forth, is the nectar for the adult. So our concern was, oh my goodness, we better get involved if half the population, because it has been on the endangered species list for quite a few years. So we feel that the 29 that we've contributed this winter so far, that hopefully 3 or 4 generations will happen here, and then they'll migrate back to the northern states.
Now that we're involved in the butterfly garden, we try to get out every day just to see how many of our own, that we hope are our own, are making use of the area. There are other varieties of butterflies here, many kind we're just learning about in Florida, so it's a new experience for us, although we try to maintain the young ones that we brought into the world, and we try to see where they spend their time, either in this garden or across the street into the residence gardens.
But we have had a lot of our friends and relatives come and visit, and it's great to see folks come. It's a very peaceful atmosphere.
Dr. William Evans will be coming to Shell Point to make a presentation and answer questions about urological issues. Mary Franklin talked to Dr. Evans to give us a preview.
On Thursday, April 24th, in the Social Center at 1:15 p.m., I hope you join Dr. Evans for an important topic: common urological issues. Dr. Evans has been in Southwest Florida for over 30 years, and he is a co-founder of the Southwest Florida Urologic Associates. And we are so pleased to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about you. I know you've been down here for a really long time, but you're an Ohio boy?
I am. I'm from Cincinnati, born and raised there. I went to school in Ohio, went to College of Worcester in Ohio, and went back to Cincinnati to medical school. Went to UC Medical School, and then went on and did all my postgraduate training in general surgery and urology at Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And then I came to Florida after that.
Great. Well, you've been here for quite a long time. You have a great reputation. You have some ties here to Shell Point with your parents and knowing a lot of the doctors.
Yes, I've had ties with Shell Point for many, many years. Our practice has worked closely with Shell Point over the years. We've had very good working relationship with all the physicians here. Some of them have actually retired since then, but we've had a very good working relationship. We've seen many, many residents at Shell Point, and my parents were residents here. They unfortunately both have passed away, but they spent almost 5 years here.
All right.
So I'm very familiar with Shell Point.
You know, and you know our crowd. So my next question is, what are the top 3 urological issues that you see in your office with this age group, with the senior population?
Well, I would say probably number 1 would be urinary issues, urinary incontinence issues. That's probably number 1. Very, very common problem in this age group of patients. It's predominantly women, predominantly females, but not exclusively. We do a lot of issues with men as well. And there are definitely things that we can do to help patients, and there aren't that many patients who can't be helped by something. It's not the same answer for each patient. Number 2, I would guess probably would be urinary tract infection issues. And interestingly, there in many cases, and particularly in women, it can be a connection between incontinence and infection.
Right.
And so, you know, if you are a female here and are wearing pads or are incontinent or having infections, there may be a relationship between the two, and you know, you should see us about this so that we can address it.
Right.
I would say number 3 would probably be urologic cancer. Okay, and that again is for both men and women. And that involves blood in the urine, is evaluating you for screening for that. It involves PSA testing in men.
Right.
Urine testing, specific urine testing in both men and women. Bladder cancer is an issue. So we deal with a very broad range of issues in our practice.
And everybody should attend this session because we all have to go, right? So, but it would be a great presentation to get the knowledge, even if you're not dealing with an issue right now.
Absolutely. I think you know, you're always better off if you're armed with information and some understanding of what potential things can happen to you and what you should look for. And if you have concerns or problems, then you don't necessarily have to go to your family doctor. You can come directly to us to see us, and we are taking new patients every day.
Okay, well that's great. We look forward to your presentation because you also said that you're going to cover questions and answers.
Absolutely. I always want to be able to field questions from the audience, from patients that they're concerned about, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and I hope that people will find it interesting and helpful.
And you're going to make this a nice, safe environment. So even though there's ladies and men in there, everybody should feel comfortable being in the same room and talking about these issues.
You know, one thing about medicine that's changed dramatically is the openness of feeling like you can discuss your issues.
Right.
These things are not in the closet anymore. You do not need to be embarrassed about issues that you have. We all have them.
Right.
We all have issues. So we very much encourage people to come and talk.
And learn from each other.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Well, this talk will take place on Thursday, April 24th in the Social Center at 1:15 p.m. If you would like to come hear Dr. Evans speak, you can sign up at either of the service desks. I'm Mary Franklin with the Health Connection. Make it a happy and healthy day.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of April 18th, 19th, and 20th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.